Coming from a more technical, science-based background and thinking about my options after graduate school, the most obvious option and the easiest option is to stay in science and stay at the bench. Bench work can be extremely rewarding, and basic research is obviously very important, but the reality of that type of work is that it's long and it's tedious and it takes a really long time to see results from your experiments. And some people find that really rewarding. I struggled with it a bit. And so for me, the choice to move away from the bench and into a world like consulting was actually a very obvious choice for me.
I remember back to one project I was on where we were working on a due diligence. So we were supporting a client make an assessment of whether they should buy an asset, buy another company or not. And over the course of the 2 or 3 weeks that we were on that study, I spent numerous hours on the phone speaking to operators of nuclear power plants and being able to bring up the fact that I had a PhD in physics and really talk to them about the neutron flux cross-section within their reactor core. All of a sudden gave me so much more credibility in the eyes of these folks. They were really much more willing to have an open dialogue with me and answer the questions that I was really seeking answers to.
My background in engineering is on semiconducting and energy storage. I know what engineers face every day, and so when I go into the team room and try to solve these problems, I think I can bring a new way of thinking.
You have a link between the business world and the science/medical world where you can really help drive forward problems. And this comes in effect where sometimes there's conflicting thoughts in terms of what the best decision is. And this helps you try to bring in multiple perspectives and find the best path forward.
I was really happy in my previous role. I was a physician administrator and I love taking care of patients, but I was looking for a new challenge and a new opportunity. And so I wanted something where I could bring my skills and my experience as a physician, not lose that, but then try some new things. I'd been really working in a community setting and I wanted to learn about hospitals and payers and sort of broaden my experience, but also still be able to have an impact on the communities where I was working. So I was taking care of one patient, which I loved, and then 20,000 patients, which I also loved, but now I get to take care of 1 million patients. So that's really the reason why I came to McKinsey.
I've had the opportunity to do everything from creating a microfinance product to help favela housing in Brazil, to presenting in front of boards of Fortune 500 companies about what they should be doing for their strategy for the next 5 to 10 years. You never know what type of a project you're going to end up working on. It could be something about paper mills in Brazil or a specific cancer drug in Asia. You have no idea. And all of this you do with amazing people who become a little bit like your family when you're working in a team room.
Getting a team to the best answer possible requires creating an environment where everyone on the team is happy and at their best. And you can't do that without caring about the people on your team.
We have one-on-one feedback sessions, we have group or team learning sessions where we talk about what works, what doesn't work, how we can improve it. It's a great learning opportunity. You can get exposed to a variety of different things. And for me, coming out of PhD, this was very important. I had spent my career before that trying to learn new things, and I didn't want to stop.
Coming to McKinsey with a law degree, I was actually a little bit worried when I first started thinking about doing it. McKinsey is a business consulting firm. I just had a legal background. I started talking to friends of mine in the firm that came from non-traditional backgrounds, some doctors, some people that had come out of industry or never gotten MBAs. And they made me feel better. They told me a little bit about the training process.
One thing I was really excited about at McKinsey was this mini MBA training program. It was really important because I learned some basic concepts and I knew if I needed to apply it again, I knew where to look. It gave me a great base to try to launch off my McKinsey career.
After your first year, you go to a training called Lead One, which is basically about starting to really find your leadership voice. Both better understanding the feedback that you're getting, as well as saying, what really is my working style? What works best for me? What are my key strengths that I can build on? What actions and what types of environments are going to be most effective, both in making me happiest at the firm, as well as enabling my further success?
The most surprising thing about the firm really is that what people say in recruiting is actually pretty true, right? And it's still kind of outstanding to me today. that McKinsey, for example, from a people standpoint, is non-hierarchical. I feel incredibly comfortable, walking into, a director's office and just catching up. No real objective, just catching up.
Everyone I meet is fantastic. They're very interesting. It's a diverse group of people who really, really are passionate about what they do and also have a lot of side interests that they bring to the office.
I've interviewed with a guy who actually won an Oscar. I've also worked with folks who have designed composting toilets and taken them to the field, so to speak.
Recently, I spent a lot of time with my son. I have a 9-month-old. I was amazed of how much support I got at McKinsey from before my son was born all the way till when I came back from maternity leave, and there was a large network of support. Most of the projects that I have worked with, I have been lucky. There has been at least one other expecting parent or new parent on the team.
I'm a new dad. And one of the first things that people said, of course, was congratulations. But I got this amazing Excel list of baby products from one of the partners I worked with. And she's like, I've been there.
When I'm not at work, I love to be surfing. I grew up in Southern California, and I absolutely love to be in the water.
I love hiking, I love climbing. I've been able to take 2 or 3 weeks driving around the South Island, doing as many of the great walks as I possibly can.
The horse that I ride is a little too smart for his own good, but also a little lazy. A lot of the time, we'll be heading towards a jump, and I can feel him be like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, this is happening. And then he's like, oh, this is happening. And then we jump it, and it's great. And it's amazing how much you have to keep that mentality at work too, when your energy is flagging or when you're not sure you're gonna be able to crack a problem. Just taking a breath, pulling yourself together and saying, no, this is gonna happen.